Hey. Okay, so it's the middle of the day and it's very, very hot in the Philippines, so I'm currently dying. But, anyways, I'm sorry if I made any mistakes in this video. I really did try my best. Alright, so we're picking a base color, and I just want to show you guys something. When you pick a base color, make sure that it's not like gray, and make sure that's not like red either. You have to pick one that's nicely saturated, but not too saturated. So yeah, I don't really color darker skin tones that much, so I'm trying my best. So get one that's slightly lighter, and then just tap it in the middle of his face. And then also lower in his lower neck. And then getting a darker color and just putting it by his chin and by his forehead, because that's where a lot of the shadow is mostly casted. Making a new layer, selecting the color, and then getting one that's slightly more towards red so we can use it as blush. And with the newly released brushes, we're going to use as soft and make some blush. Yeah, my apologies for sounding, I don't know, weird or something, like a smoker, I guess. I don't know. So also make sure not to use like a pink or something. Since they have darker skin color, you also need darker blush. Alright, if you have pink, that just looks weird. Alright, so yes. And then also by their eyelid. If you don't have an eyelid for your art piece, then that's okay. We're also going to go over and kind of give him a bit of a lip. It's a tiny top lip, and okay, well actually I'm just deciding to pick a darker color because, you could always change up your colors. And if you don't know what kind of color to use, I'm making a new video on that, which will be released soon on how to pick shading colors. Also making a tiny little shadow at the bottom of his lip just to, show that he's got lips, since I'm trying to go for a little bit more of a realistic style recently. Then also darkening around his eyelids and, his eyes, just to make them come out a little more. I really want his eyes to come out since I like the yellow color. For the space between his eyebrow and his eye, we're just doing some very light shadows. And then for his nose, and also make sure not to overdo it, or it's kind of gonna look like he's got some sort of cat nose or something. It's okay to go around and experiment with different types of shading. I tried to give him a bit of a cheekbone and I was like, nah, that doesn't look right. So shade one side of the face. Well, you could shade both, but I already planned that my light source was coming from the upper right corner. So pick your light source first, and dang it. So we're also going to be shading up his shoulders a bit and his neck, so that you guys can see his neck. Alright, so also shading a little bit underneath the head, so to give it all dimension. I noticed that I didn't add a lot of neck detail, though I honestly would want to add more. Also, if you're wondering what that grinding sound is, that's my dad. He's doing something with tools. Alright, so this is all about just going layer over layer. So we first pick just the more simple, lighter colors, and I tried to poke around with the nose, and I was like, nah, I don't like that. So I just undid it. So it's okay to experiment and take your time. Don't feel like you're running on a clock or anything, unless there's a deadline. Also, when there's a shadow underneath the hair, what you want to do is, you're not going to make it exactly touching right up against the hair. Hold on, I'll show you guys. Show you guys in a second. Okay, you want to make it slightly off, not touching right up against it. You don't want to do that, because it'll make it look like the hair is floating more off of the face if you put space between, I'm doing right here. Give each strand of hair, if you don't have strands of hair and your style is simple, that's fine, but give each of your hair some shadow and take your time with that, because it'll really give your character some more dimension, and it'll make it look like his hair isn't glued to his face. So yeah, when you have the shading, the shadow not exactly touching the hair, it makes it look like it's floating above, which is what we want because the hair isn't glued to his face. So we're just going in now with the darker shadow, finding where, just using our eyes and judging where we would need darker shadows or anything. And it's totally fine to look at references. If you don't know where to shade or how to shade, then, just look at references. References are your best friend. So doing a little more underneath the neck, since we want to have balanced values. Values is a balance between light and dark, pretty much. So just make sure that you have enough dark shadows and enough light shadows. Also, you can see that all of my shadows here are pretty solid. I'm doing a bunch of tiny lines there, kind of like blush to a nose in a way. This is a stylistic choice, so you don't have to follow it. My phone's 5%, you guys didn't need to know that, but I'm gonna die. So this is a bit more of a detailed shading tutorial than what I usually do, because I don't know, I just felt like doing something a little more detailed this time, since I already did a simple one. I'll probably make more updates in the future. I'm pretty sleepy. Alrighty. So now I'm just going in very, very lightly, just to give his face a little shape and structure. So we're not doing this really hard, just very, very lightly. And as I said, I'm using the S soft brush. You cannot find the brush in the app because it's a custom brush. If you want my custom brush, then just head over to my new brushes video, or you can just, follow the link in the description to it. Okay, so please don't ask what brushes I use because I'm saying it right now. So you can use color dodge with just an airbrush and a red to make that glowing effect. And then I usually go over it with some overlay. I get some light blue and put blue to one side of the face, and then I usually put like red or warmer colors to the other side, since I treat the blue as a bit more of a backing light and some sort of surroundings. Of course, this is completely optional, but I really just like to do this. I feel like it gives it a little more detail. And then I choose a warmer color and go over the other side of his head. But make sure not to overdo it, or you're going to make it look like his skin is pink. I mean, if you have a pink character, that's fine, but in this case, we don't want him to look pink. Just doing a little bit on his lips, since his lip pops out, and one side of his nose. So once you have that, then you can go over to add. And you could create little shines on his cheeks, his nose, and his lip if you want. This is completely optional, but I like to do the little extra for him. I feel like I don't know, I just like it. It gives him a bit of a shiny look. You can, I can't speak anymore. You can adjust the opacity so it doesn't look so severe, and oh my god. Well, I just flipped my canvas and I noticed that he looks a little weird. So yeah, let's just ignore that. Okay, this is all about the skin, never mind his face. Okay, so now we're going for lighter skin. I'm gonna use the shadowing that I already had on the other one to explain something. Since shading both the skin, they're pretty much the same except for your selection of colors. So here we're gonna go more towards a pink. And we're gonna make it a little bit of a darker color with the airbrush triangle. We're then going to just do a light shading on his chin. And then also on his cheeks. Like, doing the skin for light skin and dark skin, you shade them the exact same way, okay? But you can see that the colors are different. So I'm locking the layer. I'm gonna choose a darker shading color of the original base color, and then just gonna fill it in there. Since I don't need to redraw all the shadows, since I already did that for the darker skin one. So the shadows, they all fall in the exact same place, okay? They're the same, except for the colors. That's it. So the placement of shadow is all the same. You could go in there and just adjust. Alright. So I was honestly scared when I was trying to do darker shadowing for skin, because I felt like if I got something wrong, people would somehow call me racist, even though what I did wasn't racist. It's just, if I make a mistake in this tutorial, it doesn't make me racist, because I am not racist. I have nothing against other races, okay? I respect all races, alright? But if I mixed up and I messed up on how to shade a certain skin tone, that won't make me racist. That just makes me, like, not knowledgeable in that particular subject. Okay, so if I got something wrong, please don't attack me, alright? Because I'm trying my best here. And honestly, I asked some other people and they said that it looked fine, so I assume it looks fine. I don't know why I'm still scared to post it. Like, I feel like people are gonna be, I don't know, they're gonna get mad or something. It doesn't make any sense though. If anyone gets angry, it's a pretty illogical reason, because I didn't do anything wrong. And if I messed up on the art, then my deepest apologies. But it has nothing to do with other people's races. It just has to do with the fact that I don't color darker skin tones, since I always used myself as a reference, and since I have a lighter skin tone, I always do lighter skinned people, because I look in the mirror a lot and I just use myself as reference. Okay, so I have nothing against darker skin tones. I just use myself as reference, so that's why a lot of my characters are lighter skin tone, okay? Okay. So just going over the shadowing just like we did with the other one, I decided to do it again since I couldn't really find the right colors and it got a little mixed up. So for each skin tone, it's the exact same shading, just different colors. Remember that. You just need to learn about different colors, and it's important not to make them look dull. You gotta make them look nice and saturated, but not like eye bleeding saturated. So this guy, he's got a little bit more of a pink tone rather than a yellow tone. So yes, also this is a new OC. I have no idea what I'm going to call him, but I'm going to use him a lot, because I always like the yellow eyes and black hair combination. Alrighty, so I hope that you guys learned something from this. If you didn't, then that's incredibly unfortunate, and I hope that... Dang, that's just sad. But you know what? I hope this helped you guys. Thank you so much.